Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So the training, it's a very simple overall training. Sabbapakasa akaranang kusala sumpasampada sacitta pariyotapanang etang buddhana sasanang te. The avoiding of all evil ways, the uplifting and commitment to what's wholly good, the purification of one's citta, one's mind or heart. Just this is the teaching of the Buddha. So, exquisitely straightforward and simple and universal. As we say, we take a very whole view to practice. It's not just sitting still or going through the formal meditation postures or even the kind of particular focuses of what people normally call meditation, but totally wide, focused, and flex, still remain true and authentic and penetrative, and yet something we can live within, we can move within, we can talk within, and we can die within, we can get sick within, And we say kind of brochure Buddhism, everybody's sitting in lotus, they're generally healthy, bright-faced. This is called brochure Buddhism. Real Buddhism, people have got bad knees, sore throats, something wrong with their back, struggling, or going through life. So going through life, taking it off the page and going through life with it, communication, relationships, duties. So for this week, I would like to highlight and bring to mind for you, which things you probably already know, but to highlight and cause your intentions and attention to move around what I call the five indriya. Faculties or Indra is the king of the gods, so he was the kind of great leader, the one with authority. So these are authorities or allies. It's got that sense of these are not just bystanders. This is really central authorities. So the 48th chapter of the Samyutta. Bhikkhus, there are these five faculties. What five? The faculty of faith, the faculty of energy, the faculty of mindfulness, the faculty of concentration, the faculty of wisdom. When bhikkhus, a noble disciple, understands as they really are, gratification, danger, and escape with reference to these five faculties, then is called a noble disciple who is a stream enterer, no longer bound to the nether world, fixed in destiny with enlightenment as a destination. So when it says, in the case of or with reference to, it means how do these five faculties help us to understand gratification, that sense of consuming things. So obviously obviously, very obviously, sense pleasures, or sense objects, consuming, and the danger of this. There's a certain sense of satisfaction that occurs with consuming things. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it at all. The hazard, addiction, clinging, attachment to things that necessarily will pass. And then the escape. How do we get out of this? Through these 5 faculties. So, and this is say the stream enterer. Someone had really bound their focus. They understand they've got a standing place. They've got some support. They've got their allies. Will give them something to counteract the pull of gratification, pulling away from the threat, the hazards of clinging and attachment. Without these, we really don't have much of a foundation. We don't have a leg to stand on. That's why, of course, so many people don't really make it. Then he goes on, he says, well, another one, having really understood as they really are, the gratification, danger and escape, in the case of these 5 faculties, a bhikkhu is liberated by non-clinging. Then it's called a bhikkhu is an arahant, one whose taints, corruptions are destroyed, who has lived the holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached their own goal, utterly destroyed the fetters of existence, one completely liberated through non-clinging. So at various levels of this process of purification. So just bearing in mind, we often talk about liberation and so on, but yeah, that's certainly the case, but purification is another way of looking at it, a synonym, in the sense of something being cleaned away. So first of all, we might say the cleaning away of the pull of sense feeling, when it's kind of very, very stuck on that, like glued, and this washes away the glue. And there's other things one can be hung up on, sense of identity, sense of becoming something. These are very often reiterated phrases in our teaching. One is clinging washed away the glue of identification. I am this, I could be this, I'm not this. What will I be, how will I be when I get to be? Washing that away, cleaning that away is the arahant. One who is not, this doesn't work in those ways. So this is the kind of fulfillment of it. This word purification, because of course in India, purification was mostly a matter of ritual in that time. You do the purifying fires, the sacrifices to oblations to the ancestors, pouring water and so forth. And the Buddha is saying, no, that's not it. It goes right to the core of your being. That's what you need. That's where you do your work. So really coming to citta, where is this? So a very simple adjustment of focus from the immediacy of sense contact to something more intimate. So you go from the visual faculty, which is the strong one that pulls us out, the mind faculty pulls us out, the ideas, the projects, the possibilities, the future, what he thinks and what she thinks. It's just draw back from that noise. You draw back use the visual faculty, and at least you're getting into the present with the visual faculty, very easy. Here we are, still, silent space. And then going back to the auditory faculty, hearing, we're actually much more in receptive mode. When it comes to the listening faculty, these are also called faculties, indriya, and that's part of the beauty of the teaching. Is it's as plain as the faculties are as plain as the nose on your face. There's the eye faculty, the ear faculty, the nose faculty, the tongue faculty, the mind faculty, the body faculty. So if you've got those, you've got these. You've got the 5 spiritual faculties. So we use those faculties, the faculty of the eye, faculty of the ear. When it's not inclined to hearing anything in particular, open, receptive, sounds, silences. What happens when sound arises? A certain stimulation. Sound passes. There's a kind of open space. Sound arises. Whatever that does, stimulates, pleasant, unpleasant, silence, open. There's a further step in that. You come to when one is in the listening mode, with that sense of deep receptivity and non-interference. Can you ask a simple question, where is this listening based? Where is it? We're listening to sounds, there's the listener, and we get a sense of presence, right? Steady presence. This is an aspect of the body, a sense of something solid, not the one we see with our eyes, but a certain grounded presence. And in that you can sense breathing and the rhythms of the body. Not just purely in terms of sense contact, but in terms of the body's life force, jivitindriya. Another of the indriyas, the life force of the body. Not the tactile impressions, but just this energy moving in the body. You can sense that. Why is that useful? Because then you come directly to what are called the feeling indriyas. Pleasure, pain, equanimity, evenness. And then this is really taking you into a citta, because citta is that which is affected by feeling. And normally when it's affected by feeling, it jumps up to a pleasant feeling, jumps out to an unpleasant feeling, retracts, resists, defends, surges. And we're just saying, okay, hold that quality of receptive to feeling, just hold it in presence. You feel that movement, but then it always falls back to here. Pleasure, move up, you could get tangled in it, or interested in it, or just let the pleasure move. And behind that, the receptivity, the presence that doesn't move. Right. The idea comes along, seems intriguing, a bit of excitement, and somehow there's also the presence that's not excited or resistant. It just doesn't do that. Energy rises up, and well, here we are, breathing in, breathing out, things settle down again. So in this very embodiment, there is a stable place where feeling is very unstable, but it's the thing, the quality, the indriya that really gets us going. Yeah. And it's dangerous. And yet it's also, part of what we were with. And we can tune to a pleasant feeling that arises from noble deeds, noble aspirations. It's kind of much steadier, suffusive, that actually encourages and enriches one's presence rather than sends energy out into the senses. The pleasure of I'm free from regret. The quiet pleasure. I'm free from bitterness and rancor. Yes, that's pleasant. I'm free from stinginess and holding on to my territory or my opinions. Oh yes, this is all beneath me, this squabbly stuff. Yeah. People may have done me wrong, but that's their problem, not mine. We rise above it. Pleasant, lofty, pleasant, noble. I can give. I can give what I have. I can give what I own. I can give, recognize I don't own anything. The noble deed is to just keep the giving. Giving of Dhamma is the highest giving. We do that. Dhamma can be advice, it can also be just sharing this steady, calm, grounding presence. That's Dhamma, it's very good Dhamma. And when we live in these situations, a lot of the time we're just doing that, we're doing Dhamma of presence. When you meditate, same thing. Doing it perhaps going a little deeper into where you're being affected and why you're being affected. What I call the asava, the taints. That is one tends to orient around the shifting of feeling. Unpleasant feeling, oh no. Particularly a mentally unpleasant feeling. Oh, she's a nuisance, oh, he's a drag. What a pain he is, why have to do that? Unpleasant feeling. Just notice when the mind goes grumpy like that, really ugly, isn't it? Okay, so what would be better? Pleasant feeling of, okay, they're struggling, compassion, equanimity. I don't have to get into a state because of where other people are at. So the unpleasant feeling, in this sense, can make us strong. That's why it's said, liking, disliking, equal value. Things I don't like, being with that, maintaining presence, makes me strong, makes me dispassionate, makes me equanimous. Very valuable resource based on just holding presence in the face of unpleasant mental feeling, psychological feeling, feeling about oneself, feeling about other people, feeling about whether you've attained anything, not attained anything. Just feeling. And let's just maintain presence. And these, we come out of the grip of those kind of very tenacious worries and anxieties and self-measurements. Just in presence. Don't have to have an identity to be present. You don't need to make a self out of it. What a refuge. Look at that. And what will cause this presence to disappear from me is when I reach over and start grasping and messing around. That's where I lose it. Nobody else takes it away from me. I throw it away. Or something throws it away. We don't have to. You can stay with this, unpleasant feeling arises, what we dislike. Okay, patience is needed. Presence will bring up patience. Unpleasant feeling, then we can just let ourselves be replenished. Pleasant, when we get skillful pleasant feeling, this is called the pleasant feeling arises from integrity, from virtue, from generosity, and from jhana. The Buddha says, don't be frightened of this. Take it in, absorb it, because it rebuilds, it refreshes and replenishes, and you feel more enriched. And then you do all that which we like, in a skillful form of liking. I like the stillness, I like the simplicities. Yeah. I like the noble company. You could say, don't get attached to these things, don't get attached to these things. No, it's not attachment, it's devotion. Devotion is one gives oneself to the stillness. And you participate in it. When it disappears, things are silence, or the sounds or that arise, or movement arises. You remain still in that presence, and you retain the faculty of devotion, or saddha, faith. Which means, simply speaking, this core quality, I don't have to lose it. This is the embodied citta, which will be fulfilled through this skillful fruition of these faculties that are there in the very beginning. We see later on in this whole chapter, the Buddha is saying they merge in the deathless. So, they begin as plain as the nose on your face. They begin with the sense faculties. And they turn to what is it that is present with the sense faculties. Where do they all take what is their source? Presence. It streams out. And return to that. Basic. And citta. Embodied citta. Aware. The faith faculty is then that which we get some touch of that. And what faith? The faith means there can arise a way out of the tangle. There can arise a way out of the overwhelmed. There can arise a way out of the confusion. There can arise a way that leads to greater presence, confidence, we call it. I'm not just helpless victim, or just blown around like tumbleweed. There's a definite sense of I can have purpose and steer. So this is saddha, when you begin to get a hint of that, a touch of that. Where does that come from? Where does that arise for you? You're all here, so where did it arise from? You met somebody, you heard a teaching, you listened to something, you were touched by something, and hey, what's that? What does that feel like? What's that experience? That little light bulb goes off, lights up. Oh. This is not just about 9 to 5 getting by and then drop dead. Yeah. There's a way in which this incarnation could be supremely purposeful for my welfare and the welfare of others. Where did that arise for you? Perhaps you didn't have those words for it, but you got a feeling of, yeah. And because of that, energy arose. Yes, yes, let's do something. Let's direct. Virya arose. Energy. Sense of enthusiasm. Sense of, I'm alive for this. I'm revved up. I'm moving on this one. And then where did you go? What happened for you? I think for many of us, they say dukkha is a condition for the arising of saddha. Dukkha, suffering, incompleteness, frustration, inadequacy. What's the point of all this? Running around in circles. That is a condition for the arising of saddha, of faith. It means there's got to be something else other than just this. There's got to be more than just putting money in the bank and getting a house. There's got to be more to it than this. That kind of, and you start looking. There's only all the kind of promotions, the advertisements, and the commercial glitter starts to lose its vitality. You think, it's just stuff. The lights, the colours go down, the intensities fade because you're just not with it. Maybe this, for me, this was happening in my very early in my life. It wasn't even before I was 10 years old. It was already there. I had a recognition of death when I was 6 or 7 years old. And I thought, what's the point of all this then? If everybody I know, everybody I love, dies. Oh dear. What's the point of this then? And people say, don't worry about it. How can you not worry about it? We're in a sinking ship. Not just me, but my parents, my friends, and so forth. They're all going to just leave and die. There's got to be something other than this, surely. And that was the Buddha's saddha, where he came from. Wife, child, mother, father. What do I do? These are people I'm devoted to. He ran away from him, some kind of, irresponsible, but sense of, if I'm just, all I can do is bring them food, what kind of, can I do something better than that? I will go and search for the deathless. No, I don't think many of us necessarily had that wording, but it could be something else. You start to look into teachings, cultures. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's the lead? Where is it? Where do I find it? Is it in this? Is it there? And probably, that's not in that belief. Beliefs, you can believe anything, that's not going to do it. Some people will do it, find their faith arises in a belief. But other people feel faith doesn't arise in a belief. A belief, because you can believe anything. And different people believe different things, it just gives rise to conflict. And it's just, you're kind of stuck with the belief. It's an idea of something to give one sense of security and belonging. No, that's just a prop, isn't it? Unless you take it deeper, of course, if you can take it deeper into real, direct experience. This is where all these things meet. But why don't we just cut to the chase, scrap the beliefs, get direct. What's the most direct thing you got? Your own presence. You're kind of fumbling around. What do you do with it? For me, I was kind of wandering around and thinking, I need a teacher, need some kind of teacher. Where do you get a teacher? Living in Dunstable, which is not renowned as a spiritual hotspot. In fact, it's almost spiritually totally numb. I think there's vague waves of it washing up from Amaravati now, but there was no Amaravati in those days. There was just Luton Football Club, which takes some believing in. So, so they go out, find somewhere else, leave this country, moving around, end up in Thailand. Buddhas. Yeah, Buddhas, what are Buddhas? What do Buddhists do? Buddhas, awakening, Buddhas. What's that about? That sounds cool. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. Because it had to be something you were didn't just believe in Buddha or Buddhism. You see peace, harmlessness, yeah, that's good. Calm, yeah, that's good. Awakening. How do you do that? Turn up, found a meditation class. Meditation, Buddhist meditation. Okay. It's in there. It's in this class. Oh, we're trying to focus. The guy gives his talk. I'm thinking, what's this kind of focusing or breathing? And I noticed the thing I noticed was the monk was sitting right next to a window which had no glass in it. He had a lamp on his desk where he gave his talk. Flying ants would come in, attracted to the light. These flying ants would land on him, crawl into his eyes, crawl into his mouth, crawl into his ear. He didn't get flustered, didn't start flapping, didn't get excited, just carefully disengaged flying ant from his mouth, put it carefully down. And one goes up his nose, he takes it up his nose, puts it down. And then goes into his eye, just carefully takes away from his eyes, doesn't hurt, puts it down. I'm looking at it. What's that? Because I could always look at it, I always want to go flap my hands and slap these things away. No, just carefully. What's that? So I've got to do more of this. So little things like that, a sign. Someone who's not flapping around, not agitated by feeling, but mostly concerned to not harm the creatures. These little creatures that would most people just swat them. No, every creature, everyone. Carefully. Oh, wow, what's that? Got to do more of this stuff. So teaching meditation, mindfulness they called it. In those days, 1975, it wasn't a common word. It wasn't like now it's mainstream, but it wasn't a common word. It's just you stay with something, put your energy, your devotion, your commitment, right? And then you place your attention carefully on something like those flying ants, and you take in the quality of what's happening, and then you work from there. So your mindfulness, you place your attention on something in order to listen to it deeply. And from there, an action, you determine an action based upon mindfulness. So you can do this, it's active, you place it, with energy to place it, energy to sustain it, energy to keep it firm, energy to persist against the push of unpleasant feeling, stay with it, receptivity, drinking in, what's the meaning of this, what's the appropriate sense of what's really going on here, what's appropriate, and then action. Or, as was being taught, you could just stay in that mode, turn it towards your own breathing, and let that process, firmly attending to, deeply listening to, adjust one's mind and heart from the jittery, high-speed attention to steady, deep listening attention. Could adjust the input of feeling based upon sense contact to feeling based upon life force energy moving quietly, calmly. What does that do? Oh, suddenly things drop away. Not suddenly, actually. Things drop away. And you begin to say, oh, this is a way. Definitely things are changing. Not through me doing something, but through just sustaining and holding something. Things start to untangle. The future, the past, people, events, me, start to get very misty, and kind of fade, shake away. Of course, you come down to much more fundamental or quality of restlessness, boredom. Mind is drowsy, mind is drugged. Through saturation in sensuality, mind is kind of drugged. Well, you've got to do time. You've got to do time, cleaning out the results of overstimulation, overexcitement, of saturation in conceptual thinking. You have to do time, patiently, stay with it. And what's required for there is faith. You can, it's possible. It's possible for you. We've all come that way. We've all come the way of physical pain, of emotional distress, of conceptual overload, of feeling miserable and guilty, of feeling pathetic and hopeless, of feeling nobody likes me. We've all come that way. Yeah. And then just maintaining presence, and so those feelings don't bite and grab hold. This is the way of where the mind, the heart will come to unity, settle in itself. But, of course, obviously, a beginner, that's just the hypothesis, that's a sense of this is where we go. But where are we now? Because you've got to keep the faith arising, steady. So then we cultivate that. Where there is confidence, it's your root quality. Sabapapasa karanang, confidence that to avoid doing evil and to deeply study what actually is evil or unskillfulness, heedlessness, recklessness, insensitivity, impulsiveness, slightly deceitful, manipulative, all of it. And it becomes clear. So, that's not right. Shunning it. Lifting up what is wholesome and good. Generosity. Not difficult. Not difficult at all. Everybody loves it. Lift it up. Lift it up, drink it in, the quality of that open-heartedness, that givingness. How energy streams in through that. Based upon dana, energy streams in. Always gives something. Even if it's just protection for some creature. I can incline my heart to the welfare of others. Dana, sila. I'm sensitive to the welfare of others. I seek out ways in which my relationship with others might be causing them problems, or I'm losing balance. So we maintain that sense of appropriate propriety, conscientiousness, steadiness, refraining from sexual misconduct, tipping over into other people in a way that's abusive, verbal conduct, tipping over into other people, tipping over into ideas in a way that's harsh, manipulative, overbearing, turning away. Speech is a treasure to be given as a treasure, not just to be dumped. So these are things, one's faith, oh yes, I get it. Oh yeah, I can see that. Faith, the energy then pours into that. This is something I can sustain and strengthens my presence, nourishes and fulfills me, gives me clarity and discernment. What's important, what's not important. Winning is not important. Success is not important. Gain is not important. What's important is presence. And devoted to that. Devoted to wakefulness. Let's not just hang around dozing. Just drifting off. Devoted to wakefulness. It's satta, isn't it? Devotion. Devotion with energy. And then when you cultivate that faculty, we have, it begins to crystallize, devotion to the Dhamma and to the example of the great teacher. You're attached to Buddhism? No, I'm devoted to Buddhist practice. What's the difference? Attachment just means I stay stuck on a set of ideas and I kind of fall asleep in it. Just go, and you can do that. I'm a Buddhist. Okay. Go to temple twice a week, once a week, moon days. And, better than going to the pub maybe, but still it's you can do much better than that. Just holding on to it as a kind of identity token. But, you honour the Tathagata. You honour the Tathagata by committing to it, by practicing his teachings. This is the way you give the supreme honour to the Buddha. If you want to offer anything, offer yourself. Offer your heart. We chant, we recollect, we bring to mind. Sustain the image, even an image in sound. You can't do a visual image, it's the sense of the sound. The Buddha, awakened. Whatever impressions are there for you. Dhamma, progress, potential, purpose, path, way onwards, opanayiko, pertinent, leading. So I'm just stuck in some kind of set of dogmas, but I take it out on the road and I get it to move. I'm not just calculating how many Chittasikas there are in every chitta moment. Could be useful, but get this thing on the road and get it to move through pain, pleasure, gain, loss. That's where you do the work. Get it to roll along through the busyness. There's too much to do. To the emptiness, there's nothing to do. I'm bored stiff. Get it to keep moving. There's your practice, isn't it? This is the Sangha, those who practice in the human condition, with all its forms, with integrity, uju, straight. It's devotion, one's faith. You recollect these, we chant these every day. Of course, like everything else, it can be just yada yada. Think I do. Squeak along, grunt along, make the words come out. Like it, don't like it. just a performance. That's the threat, isn't it? That's the danger. You can take one of those, two of those phrases and take them in and chew them. Why? And what's this about? No, really. until they enter the heart. This is called recollection. You digest and take a little bit and chew it, rather than just take a lot and don't chew it. And recollecting. So we can use our thinking minds to bring us back into this. And where does it all return to? When you use the manindriya, the indriya of the thinking mind. So if you use it carefully, stay steady with it, listen to the input, listen to it, get it into your body, then it's done its work. It takes you into your life force, it enters your heart. And you can go a long way with even very simple teachings like that. Well, this is the way we practice. Yeah. But it's much more than that. As has been recently been mentioning, you have the Katina occasion coming up where classically lay congregation get together. They have to offer couple of pieces of cloth, one for the nuns, one for the monks. But the amount of devotion and energy and thinking and communication and cooperation and coordination that goes on behind just that one act. You could just say, oh, here's a check, go and buy yourself a robe. Easy. No, we don't want it easy. We want it to really gather up all the devotion, all the energy, all the mindfulness. You can use one piece of cloth to do it with. Yeah. It's not a matter of getting it over with, or even just when then we'll decide who's going to receive it. It doesn't really matter. Just someone you want to say, look, we've noticed, and we want to raise you up. It's only a robe, only a piece of cloth. We don't give medals. So you can use very modest things, to get your saddha and your devotion around behind. It doesn't have to be fancy gold stuff, prestigious awards, medals. It could just be a piece of cloth. So you transform the most mundane requisite, a simple piece of cloth, into a sense of honor, renown, cooperation, love, encouragement, recollection, what it's about, why is anybody worthy of a gift? Because they live properly, And even more than that, then we make the robe. And the idea of Katina robe, everybody should join in. If you're aged and infirm, you can thread a needle. If you're half blind, you can sweep the sewing room. If you haven't got good enough eyes to thread a needle, then at least get the broom out and sweep the sewing room. You've got to be part of it, because it's not a matter of just, here, you go down the shop and get a robe, quick and over with, and then now he's saying, actually, you want everybody to do it by hand. So it's even more complicated. Even more effort needed than just the sewing machine. Oh, good. We stay up all night doing it. More merit. This is the way a practitioner thinks. Attitude. You want to have something that will longer, then we can all put our hearts and energies and struggle and get it wrong and try and work it out. Good. Then there'll be more energy, more saddha, more commitment to keep going with it when you're getting bored or tired or whatever. Just keep going. That's where you build. You use something like that to build these bases and to make them strong, and you develop like this. Nobody's attached to a robe. Right? So this is difference, isn't it? Devotion, what I can give, and how that foundation of saddha, which starts as the arising of faith, matures into confidence, ripens into full devotional vigor, acts as the wellspring for the 5 indriya that lead to the deathless. This is the way we should understand it. It's now and it always has been. You recognize when the great female disciple Visakha wanted to offer all kinds of things to the bhikkhus and the bhikkhunis, so they could food for the sick, bathing cloths, food for people going on a journey, all kinds of special requisites she wanted to offer them. And the Buddha said, well, why? What's in it for you? And that's a pretty, didn't say, oh, very good. No, he said, why? What's in it for you? What do you get out of it? She said, when I do this, my heart lifts up. Joy arises. When joy arises, I feel satisfied. My body is calm. The enlightenment factor is coming to fruition in me. This is why I cultivate it. And the Buddha said, very good. Then I allow you to do this. It's not a duty, it's for the perseverance and the fruition of the Dhamma that you should cultivate generosity and virtue. And you cultivate it so your faith is strengthened and fulfilled. This is the way we should understand the indriya of saddha. So let's take some time for silent practice. If you're remembering how what we call our formal meditation practice is really a matter of keeping, sustaining presence through the qualities of feeling, through the movements of the body, through the movements of the mind, so that the sense of clinging and identity and struggling with these can be eliminated. But we'll talk on this as the days go on. Have a day of good practice.